friends. Okay, so today I'm joining you from some woods that are local to me, and they're really beautiful, and I come here just to get a little bit of peace and quiet, so I thought I'd share this with you. There's a lovely stream that runs down the bottom, and I don't know if you can hear it, and you can hear the birds and everything. It's just lovely. Don't be surprised if the odd leaf falls on me though, so yeah, it might make me jump. So anyway, this is another Diary of a Sagg, and what's been going on? So there was, last time I spoke to you guys, there was the eclipses going on, and I kind of knew what was going to happen there. I had a sense for it, and sure enough it has. So major moves happening in my home environment, in terms of my work environment, and it's affected everything, and I really feel like it's really tied into my destiny in a big way, and I feel a big weight taken off, which is really lovely. So I hope you guys are feeling that too, and that you've gained some clarity, or that you're starting to gain more clarity as we come out of this. We've got a new moon happening tomorrow in Virgo, which happens to be my rising sign, and it's making an occultation, which basically means it's kind of like an eclipse. So it means that the moon moves in front of another celestial body. So on this occasion it's moving in front of Mars, Venus and Mercury. So it's going to actually intensify the areas of our lives that are ruled by those planets and wherever those planets are. So they're going to come to the forefront. So, you know, like we might be kind of thinking about what love really means to us, or, you know, thinking about getting to the truth of things, or in terms of Mars, you know, we might find that we want to temper our approach. If we're somebody who's quite kind of outspoken and maybe aggressive, we might be finding that actually it works better to be subtle. If we're somebody who's quite shy and introverted, we might find that we need to find our voice more, that these things might come to light. But obviously, you know, it depends on your own unique chart. I'm kind of feeling the energies already. I tend to feel things in advance, and yeah, I would say that all three for me have come to light in the last 2 days, and certainly I'm seeing where I can temper things and handle things a bit better at times. But all in all, thank God for that eclipse. Both of them, sorry. Thank God for those eclipses. Oh my gosh, I have been waiting for those for so long. And it just feels like a fresh start is happening, and I'm just feeling so much clearer. And the areas of my life where they happened were areas where I was feeling very stuck, and had been feeling stuck for the last 6 months. So, you know, patience finally paid off, and I feel like I'm able to start afresh, but taking the lessons that I've learned with me. And those have been lessons very much to do with self-respect and love, and boundaries, and honoring myself more than anything, you know, honoring myself, and honoring myself enough to say when something just isn't working for me anymore, you know, learning to say no, because I think this is something that a lot of us, you know, kind of very spiritual or empathic people get, is quite often we find it hard to say no. And as such, sorry, I'm just looking because it's all these leaves falling, like it's really nice, and quite often we find it hard to set boundaries, and that's been something that I've struggled with for a long time, and it's something that has been exploited in me by various others. And part of my journey this year has really been, you know, learning to say no and honor myself and mean it, and that saying no doesn't mean you're a bad person. And you know, I think if you kind of grow up in an environment which is overly authoritarian, where you don't get to individuate as a kid, and where you don't get to have your own voice and express yourself, you learn to become the good girl or the good boy, and you learn that you must say yes. Saying no to other people's wants it makes you bad, you know, and ultimately you only end up suffering until like you get to a point where you just can't do it anymore. And so yeah, I'm really quickly getting comfortable with saying no and being okay with it and not feeling bad about it, you know, and that's a really nice place to be. and with that comes like less of a care of what people think about you. I care to a certain extent, but there's a healthy point, isn't there, which you can reach, which is when how others think of you and others' opinions, if it affects you to the point where it stops you from being yourself, doing what's good for you and doing what's right for you, then it's unhealthy. And so yeah, feeling quite liberated, if I'm honest. There's still a few kinks to iron out and things to organize, but that's the nature of life, and I'm enjoying the journey and I'm enjoying the process. Yeah, and just feeling a lot brighter and a lot happier. Don't know if you can tell. What else did I want to share with you? Oh yeah, this was really, really interesting. So, like I said, I'm Virgo rising. So, for anyone else who's Virgo rising, you'll probably have experienced this too. There's been a lot of activity, or there was a lot of activity going on in our 12th house. We had Mercury there, we had Mars there, we had Venus there, and there was an eclipse there as well. And so a lot going on behind the scenes, a lot of karmic stuff. And, you know, the 12th house is, yes, it rules things like self-undoing and self-sabotage and hidden enemies and, you know, institutions like hospitals, prisons, that kind of thing, and like, you know, madness and all that scary stuff. But at the same time, I like to think of it as the house of God to a certain extent. God, Great Spirit, Source, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I think of it as that house because in that house, it's almost like it's so hard to define it. It's hard to pinpoint it and say exactly what it does and exactly what it's about. And that's the beauty of the universe, is that and the beauty of our lives, you know, we've got all these areas that are so well defined, like our relationships, our jobs, our health, our self-image, our career, our learning. But then there's an element of life that you just cannot put your finger on. It's unknowable, it's undefinable, it is everything, yet it is nothing specifically, and that is the 12th house. It's that area that we just, it's God, it's creation, it's the beauty and the magic of the universe. So after that long explanation, like I said, I've had a lot going on in that 12th house, and my mistake, and you'd think I wouldn't make this mistake knowing what I know, but because of all the stuff that was going on, and like I said, I knew that there were going to be moves in terms of home, work environment, relationship, all of this. I knew there were going to be big changes, and I felt a time pressure, you know, the pressure of time. And so I did what I'm really good at doing, which a lot of us are good at doing, which is powering ahead. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. And this is while I had all this activity going on in the 12th house, and of course there was that eclipse as well that happened there, which was basically trying to say to me, take your attention away from 6th house matters, because the 12th house lies opposite the 6th. Stop trying to organize everything and control everything and plan everything. Let go and let God. Release, surrender. And so I didn't want to do this for a good couple of weeks. And I half drove myself mad. And every single thing I tried to do, I just got a block. And so basically, as well as doing astrology, I do other work as well. And I've always been somebody who's been really employable. And these little, like, road bumps kept coming up. And well, I'm not used to that. You know, usually I find it so easy. And so I was like, what's going on? Is there something wrong with me? And then eventually, after like trying and trying, I kind of went, you know what? Let's just stop for a moment. What do you know better than most? It's that when you keep on coming up against these blockages or these stop signs, it's for a reason. And I thought about the fact that there's all this there's all this stuff going on in my 12th house, all these very karmic aspects being made, and cleansing, and subconscious, very deep things going on. And I realized, you know what, I need to release and I need to let go. And so I did that. And so for a week, what I did, and I you know, if you can do this, even if just for a day, if you're finding that you're trying to achieve something, it's just not happening, you keep bumping up against stuff, and it's just like, I can't get to where I want. I recommend this. Not very many people can take a week. I had the luxury of being able to take a week. So I took a week, and I basically disconnected from Facebook, deactivated my account, didn't watch anything, not even Game of Thrones, which is big for me. Didn't watch anything, didn't watch any YouTube because I'm such an information junkie and I usually take so much in and I'm always listening to stuff. Didn't watch any YouTube, hardly read anything really, I don't think I did, and didn't see anyone, and spent the week doing the things that I always complain I haven't got enough time to do. Because my logic was, well, hang on a minute, if I'm trying to do something and I keep coming up against these brick walls, then obviously that's not where I'm meant to be going right now. So how's about I take this time I've got right now, use it to do the things I always complain about not being able to do. So I painted, and I started getting back into my music and writing and playing guitar, and meditating and coming for walks here. And I felt so good. And even though I wasn't necessarily achieving anything, I just felt like I came into sync with myself. And this is the thing with the 12th house, is when we've got a lot of activity going on there, we can't be out in the world trying and achieving and achieving. We usually, especially if Mars is there or Mercury is there, we haven't got the clarity or the energy to do so. So sometimes you have to go with it. You have to go with the path of least resistance. So that's what I did. And I felt a real centeredness. My mind cleared, and it felt like a real surrendering. And although I couldn't tell you exactly what went on the deepest levels of my consciousness and my emotions, I felt things shifting and falling into places where they belonged. And it was such a lovely feeling to just go, you know what? I surrender. That was big, whatever that was. Okay. Yeah, it was such a lovely feeling to just go, you know what? I surrender. And I'm going to let the universe work through me, with me, in ways that I don't even understand and can't comprehend. And I'm going to be okay with that. So that's what I did. And then, funnily enough, about 4 days in, an opportunity that was absolutely perfect came to me, because I was still checking my emails because I kind of had to, just in case. But yeah, an opportunity that was absolutely perfect came to me, and it couldn't have been more perfect. It was everything I'd asked for, in a place that I love, with wonderful people, and I cannot wait to begin working with them. And it just couldn't be more perfect. So how funny is that, like when I stopped efforting, I'd already done some of the groundwork, obviously I'd applied and all of that, but when I stopped worrying, when I stopped efforting, when I stopped kind of going against the tide, and I just went, you know what, I've done what I can do, now I give up, and I put it up to the universe, the perfect opportunity came along. So that's a lesson, I think, for all of us. Sometimes we just bang our heads against brick walls, and it's kind of like you've got a path through, you've got a really clear-cut path through some woods, right? And it's clear and it's there, and you're thinking, yeah, but this place that I want to get to is over there on the right-hand side, and this path is going this way, and I need to get there. And you keep cutting through vines and having to knock down trees and bump into all sorts of scary creatures, and it's just hard and challenging, and you're like, oh my god, am I ever going to get there? When if you had just stayed on that clear path, okay, it might have taken a little bit long, well actually it wouldn't have probably. If you just stayed on that path, it would have probably led you round to that place you wanted to be. But you were so determined to do it your way, and to effort, and to fight, and to try and take the straight road, that you actually ended up exhausting yourself. And maybe you got there in the end, but you expended a lot of energy doing it, and you maybe missed the scenic route, you know? And I feel like that's what that was for me. That week was just taking the scenic route. So I don't know, you know, it's just a little bit of, I suppose, wisdom to share with you guys. But yeah, I've got so many ideas for videos that I want to make, and I feel like there's so much I want to talk about. Sorry, I had to move because my foot is going dead. Yeah, I got so many ideas. So I'm not going to make this like stupidly long and you know, talk about everything that I want to in one go. But I love talking to you guys on this level, and I love the response that I'm getting. You know, I was a bit nervous about coming onto YouTube at first. I'm sure as time goes on I'm going to get more confident and more relaxed with it. I feel better than, you know, when I first started. But I was a bit nervous about it because it's one of those platforms where you see people put up all sorts of awful things and comments. You know, someone will be doing something they're passionate about and people can just completely slate it, and I'm like, whoa, do I really want to put myself out there like that? But the response has been lovely, and it's just so nice to talk to you guys and share with you guys. And you know, I hope that, like, I feel like what's going on right now is like, it's almost like we have to, I feel like we're at this culmination point, and I'm speaking on behalf of all of us collectively now. I could be completely wrong, so don't let me like project for you. But what I'm sensing on an energetic and spiritual level is that we're at this point where we've all learned so much the last 2 years. You know, we've had some seriously crazy stuff going on, and you know, Jupiter is about to move into Scorpio, where it's going to be a lot happier. But there's been so much growth and so much learning, and so many hard lessons. And I feel like we're at this point where we're like, we've collected the data, we now know ourselves better, we are more in touch with who we are, and it's almost like, right, take what you've learned, move forward, keep focused on your dreams, your goals, your heart's desires, but also come from the heart and learn to surrender when necessary. You know, it's kind of like we're going from here to here, and it's like, let this guide you. North Node is in Leo right now, which rules the heart, you know, so it is about following your heart. So it's almost like we're being asked to really live life from a far more trusting level, like where we trust the universe and we trust that it's on our side, and we don't stress as much, we don't push as much, but we take all the wisdom we've gained and we learn to flow with life rather than having to hammer it into shape. And that's how I feel. That's where I feel collectively. We're growing up, you know, we're really growing up, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Anything else? Yeah, what was I gonna say? Nope, gone. Anyway, lovely to talk to you guys as usual. I will get back on making way more videos. I've just had so much going on, moving house soon, so making a lot of plans. But yeah, I really hope you're all doing great, and please comment and let me know what's going on with you, because I would love to make this a conversation. I'd love to know what you're experiencing so that I can do videos where, you know, I'm talking back to you. That would be awesome. Alright guys, much love, take care, and I will speak to you soon. I remembered what I was going to say. Yes, I have basically started doing astrological birth chart paintings. So, I'll show you an image now of one, and I'll leave it up at the end of the video. And basically what these are they are interpretations of your birth chart. So I map out where all the planets were when you were born. I draw and I paint those in, and I include symbolic representations of like your rising sign, your moon sign, your star sign, favorite animals that you might have, symbols of like family, or you know, favorite plants or trees or anything like that, anything you want really. And it's basically a unique and personalized birth chart painting specifically for you. So if you're interested in that, then feel free to go to my site and drop me an email, and I will send you more details about, you know, how we go about it and different sizes that I can do for you. It's something I love doing, and I've been wanting to share with you guys for a long time. And you can see on this one that I just showed you, there's like it's basically got an African theme. And I actually painted it for my little brother. So it's got his favorite animal in it, and it's got the 4 women in it that represent 4 women in his family. And he's a Taurus, so hence the bull in the baobab tree, which is an African tree. So you can see how it's all very kind of personal and tied in. So yeah, if that's something that you would enjoy or that you'd like to get for somebody, then go ahead. I love doing them. Obviously it's time restricted, so like if I get loads of orders, then I'm gonna have to like stagger them, but yeah, okay, cool, just wanted to share that with you guys. Alrighty then.